If you can stop talking for 10 seconds, that would be fantastic. You want to hit the start timer on there? You want to hit? You want to start podcasting, genius?
Hello, welcome to Carnival Personnel Sideshow. I'm Jacques, and there's no Joe, and there's no Biff, because they don't love me, and nobody blames them. Now, Biff has some stuff going on. Joe has a lot of stuff going on, and it's been a couple weeks, and I wanted to get something out there, and this guest luckily is available. I've talked to him a number of times about coming on the podcast. Somebody I met a little while back in this comedy cult in Boston, and what has stood out and why I want to have him on the podcast, he's a really good comic. You know, that's the baseline. But he also is a fun showrunner. He's run things that I've got to be part of. He is also now the backbone of I don't know, and we'll get into it, whether it's a comedy troupe, but a comedy channel that is great. And he is one of the people I can actually talk to about the industry stuff and the behind the scenes stuff, and how he's one of the few people who really understands if you want a crew to not bitch about working in the cold and going into overtime, is make sure the one thing you never skimp on is craft service.
It's true.
So with that, Cameron K. Morton, welcome to Carnival Personnel, brother.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I do the K, by the way, Cameron K. Morton, because there is a producer-director in New York named Cameron Morton, and she is 6'4" and beautiful, and I am the opposite. But so I put the middle initial in.
Cam is 4'6".
yeah,
and ugly as a
terrible. I gotta cover my head with the hat and the glasses.
But let's get that out of the way. The first meal has to be warm. You can't have crew show up without a warm meal, and that sets the tone for the day. Yes or no?
yeah, absolutely. God, yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, I don't do as many television shows or features anymore. I do more like commercial work just to kind of keep the wheels greased. And I gotta say, like, commercial shoots are notorious for, like, you show up and there's like bagels and lox, and it's like the crew is just immediately pissed off. You know,
well, I mean, so I'll throw this out there. If you're doing something low budget, if you're doing something where you're getting professional people to give you a day on their off day to come and shoot something, just people will run through a wall if you don't skip on craft services. That is the number one thing that I had beaten in my head early on. I know it's also, you know, when I manage bands, dude, if you want A&R people to drive across LA, people who make six figures will drive across LA if you have a good spread at the soundstage where you're putting on the showcase. Like, it is unbelievable how far people will drive for free lunch. But so anyways, that's why I want to have Cam on. So Cam and I met, I don't even know how, probably, you know, just when I started a little over 2 years ago, and anybody I could find, I would reach out. I don't know. You were one of the first people to give me a real booked show. I was going to be on a show with Mike Katrobis, and I was super excited. I was so excited. I got down to Watertown 2 hours before I was supposed to, and I was only sitting there for about 2.5 hours when the show got canceled. And so that was our first thing. But then I don't know how soon you started to do your Tuesday mic, which was great. I mean, what a location that was. That was super fun. I don't like to drive that far for mics, but that was a fun place in Boston, a great backdrop. I mean, the backdrop is the city of Boston behind you.
Yeah, that was like a really cool spot. Yeah, the second floor of the Point, over on Hanover Street, which, you know, where the stage was, kind of had a window behind it, and it overlooked the North End, which was really cool. We have since moved, obviously, but to Hennessy's, upstairs at Hennessy's. But yeah, it was a great spot for the roughly 2 years that we were there. They were really great to us, and we loved them quite a bit.
And it was a really good mic. Like it was a booked
Thank you.
mic where, yeah, you could show up and people didn't show up and you could get on, but the caliber of talent was always, it was worth going, even if because I usually, when I was doing this, I would try to get there early and stay for the last person because I like to see, that's when I was really learning how this whole machine works.
Yeah.
So I met a lot of great people there,
Hey, to be honest with you, I was too. It was kind of a new dip of the toe in the pool with doing that, because I had never run a mic or a show like that. I had done stand up when I was younger, but I had taken such a big break from it that it was kind of like starting all over again.
Now, what got you into? Let's talk about that. Let's start at the beginning. What made you think people want to hear your little stories, and what gave you the balls to stand in front of a mic and tell these stories in front of strangers?
It's just an undying need for attention. From a very young age. I was. My grandfather got a VHS camcorder when I was 5 or 6 years old, and he used to record all the family events, and he was notorious for sitting in his window and recording the fucking deer in his backyard for whatever reason. He passed away 2 years ago, but we've been going through the tapes, and it's like mainly deer in the backyard in these videotapes. But I got him to start filming me doing like little movies and things like that when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And then I started doing theater in school, doing plays, musicals. And then at 14, we had a talent show in high school, and I said, I want to try stand up. I love comedians, and so the first time I ever did stand up, I was 14 in high school, and there was like 200 people in the audience.
That's awesome.
And I did, it must have been probably around 5 or 6 minutes. And it's fun. I wish I had a tape of it, because I still remember a decent amount of it, but I actually like brought like a boombox up, and I had made like a mix CD, you remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. I made a mix CD with sound effects, and that went along with punchlines to jokes. So I would do a joke, hit the punchline, and then there'd be like the extra added punchline of the sound effect after, and I would literally press play on the box. And I had a few jokes in there that the principal was not thrilled about. And I ended up getting suspended.
No, really?
Yeah. But they were going to suspend me for 5 days. But my argument was I had written out my entire set and given it to a teacher to approve, and it did get approved. So I only ended up getting suspended for 1 day. And I also got a standing ovation.
Dude,
so,
that look, we have a lot of my Boston comic heroes on here. Like all the names, all the legends, none of those motherfuckers have that origin story. Dude, that is so far. That is the last podcast. We're never going to fucking top that. Dude, that is so great. Please tell me the jokes that got you bounced.
I do. It was funny because I had a thing about flying down to Florida to meet my family on vacation, because it was the first flight I had taken alone, and I was kind of afraid of flying. And I talked about how the landing, the pilot took the plane down like a Cuban in a homemade aircraft, which didn't go over great with the principal. And then I also made a bit about a woman sitting next to me on the plane who I made in the story comically large, like she was like 500 pounds. And the principal said to me, and I quote, "There was an overweight person in the front row." And I was like, "You're calling them overweight. I wasn't calling them overweight. I was making a joke about a fictional person. You're pointing out fat people." And so he didn't appreciate that I called him out on that. But so yeah, those were the
dude, that origin story is so great that you got to spend. Look, day one, you were censored by the man. and
Yeah.
you fought through it and you kept going. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that
was
great.
my freshman year of high school, and then so they didn't let me do it for the rest of high school until senior year, and then I was allowed to do it again, but I had to write my entire set out and give it to the principal, not to a teacher, to get approved. And he approved it, and I did it, and it went great.
Yeah, it was. I've heard that part of the story before, and I'm just a little surprised he let the N-word fly that much. But
Yeah,
you
I know.
what?
It was crazy, right?
It's a
like,
Boston school, so
it was a different time, It was a different time. You could get away with a lot more.
So
Chappelle was on TV at the time. It was a big thing.
so when so you get out of high school. What's next? Film school?
Yes. Yeah. Right out of the gate, I went to LA. I lived in the Valley. I lived in Northridge, and I was going to Columbia College of Hollywood in Oxnard or Tarzana, one of those. And I didn't love it. No, I wasn't a big fan. So I ended up dropping out after 2 semesters and moving back home. I had transferred to New England Institute of Art, which doesn't even exist anymore because they fucked up a lot of shit. But film school, it's just, you don't need it.
So when I got out to LA and I'm doing this kind of stuff, and I'm meeting people who are spending, and this is 95, 96. At the time, they're spending like 25, 30,000 to go to USC grad school for film. Yeah. And I'm like, the Brothers McMullen just came out. It cost 25,000. Instead of going to school for a year, go fucking make a movie. You will learn more. Like the first real thing that I shot, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I mean, and it's great because it doesn't matter your budget. It doesn't. You can have the biggest budget in the world. You can be doing a Marvel movie and everything's set in the location. The actor might not come out of their trailer. Or I've been in one of these things, you've probably been in one of these things too, where we were set to shoot this movie 2015, all set, locations, XYZ. Louisiana rescinded its tax incentive.
Yep.
And Mississippi is like, well, we'll give you the tax incentive. And all of a sudden we're going, you know what I mean? It's like you can't plan. So as a producer, you have to realize everything's going to go to fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, I saw a great meme once. Producing is like riding a bike, but the bike's on fire, you're on fire, everything's on fire. But that's why it's like, don't go to film school. If you want to make movies, and now that the barrier to entry is, do you got an iPhone 14?
Yeah. I mean, now anybody can, do it. And the thing is, it's like, and I totally agree with the sentiment of like everything's on fire and everything. But like the big thing I've learned now, especially in producing things, is as long as you keep in mind that everything you're doing is kind of its own organism and it's constantly growing and constantly evolving, then you're always prepared for things to change. And then, I mean, that's just kind of the nature of the beast in terms of like, especially for creatives, because creatives are so all over the place. One idea comes this way, and the best ideas tend to stick if you let people have the freedom to
throw out stupid ideas, because part of that stupid idea is like, wait, hold on, that was pretty dumb, but that one thing about this, what if we took that and did this with it? Mm-hmm. And that is the thing. Some people don't want, like, they don't want actors to like, I wrote this script, say this word, you know what I mean? And then you can clearly tell when, whether it's a drama or whatever, it's like what somebody added, to that. But as far as on the other side, the AD side, that's not an easy gig to get into. People don't understand, in layman's terms, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cam, an AD is a shorthanded air traffic controller on the busiest travel day of the year.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking accurate. It is a very difficult position.
With no thank yous.
With no thank yous.
Not a
yeah.
one.
Yeah. Although I will say, I think it's gotten a little bit better in that aspect, but I think the appreciation for the ADs has gotten better over the years. But when I started, for sure, it was, you were you're the bad guy, essentially. I mean, you're the manager. You're running the whole set. You're essentially making the movie. I mean, you typically work with directors who've never done it before.
Yep.
And you as an AD have done it so many times that you're holding a lot of people's hands.
But everybody asks you everything. The director, wait, what shot are we on now? At the same time, the location manager is asking you, where can we land the trucks?
Yeah.
Hey, what time do we have to be out of here? It's like, wait a minute, you're asking me that, and at the same time, the actor, the talent is like, oh, where are my sides? What are we doing now? It's like,
an actor's late, so we need to adjust this shot so that we can shoot out this person and wait for the other one, but then you also have your team coming to you to talk about tomorrow and the next week. And
yes. Or my favorite thing is where people have cut corners in production. There used to be, and maybe you've never had the fun of not having a continuity coordinator on set.
Oh,
and so now you are, wait a minute, were they smoking in the last scene? Like, like before we broke for lunch, was that the shirt he's wearing? Were those sleeves rolled up? And you're the guy that everybody turns to and says, hey, where did we leave off on this?
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of like the sketches that we're doing now and like the stuff we've been shooting. Obviously, it's so pared down. It's such a small little group that's making them that like typically we don't have a script supervisor, and it's tough. It's really tough because they're such an asset to a set.
I mean, and I'm going to be blunt. You need an A-type personality who's on the spectrum to be that role. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
No,
you need somebody who is nothing. Zero personality, all attention to detail.
Yes.
So, okay, I'll give out a freebie for you and everybody else who's listening. Here's what my friend Joe and my brilliant friend Joe and I used to do a lot. When we had our sketch comedy show, we would intentionally put a bad edit or like we would do an interview thing. So it's the 3-shot. We did this one sketch called The Cutting Room Floor, where there was this Pierre Ledoux, this asshole French filmmaker there, because I hate those people. And it's him and his interpreter on one side of the table, the host on the other. So it's the wide shot, it's a 3-shot, 2-shot, 1-shot. And it would go the 2-shot, I'd be wearing red, he'd be wearing blue, and it would go back and forth. And then the third or fourth time back to that, we would change shirts. Just for that one thing, and then the rest of the thing. And it was one of those things where we realized if we put these subtle little fuck ups in there, that when they actually happened, people will just either that or this was like 93, 94, 95, 96. I was known as a drinker back then. And maybe it was just fuck ups that I am now spinning into wisdom of, hey, put some continuity mistakes in there on purpose.
Well, you know what's crazy about that is you were very ahead of your time with that because now, if you do that, say you're, for anybody who's like trying to become a content creator or anything like that online, if you do that and you do those little fuck ups on purpose, it generally tends to get a lot of the internet talking.
Yes.
And being like, oh, they fucked up that. Oh, they fucked up that. And what they don't realize is that actually just boosts your algorithm to push your content 100%. Even further. So now it's like a trick that people use. So you were a bit of ahead of the times on that one.
See, and people say borderline alcoholism is a bad thing.
I know, right? Yeah. As a someone who's 3 years sober myself, I can totally attest.
Now going down your list, what were some of the most fun projects you got to be part of? Where you're driving home and like, fuck, I got paid to do this.
Moonrise Kingdom, top of the list, with Wes Anderson. I mean, he's Wes Anderson. I mean, it's working on his project is like it reminds you of why you want to do this. Like when you're there, like he creates such a welcoming environment and such an artistic environment that it's hard not to leave feeling like you accomplished something really great every day. And there's very few directors that I've worked with that create that space. So he would definitely be top of the list. I will say one of the most fun jobs, which it was tough. It was a tough job. One of the most fun jobs was the 2016 Ghostbusters with the ladies. That one we had a lot of fun making, and because that group, I mean,
Yeah,
Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, they were awesome. And Paul Feig as a director is amazing. That was one of the best like comedy driven things that I've worked with. Just seeing how they do that and how they improvised things on a set that had a $250 million budget. So that's definitely up there as well. But there's so many. I mean, there's definitely plenty that I never wanted to work on, or but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and people usually want to ask about that stuff. I like the positive stuff because I mean, but so it's great to hear that was a fun thing.
And then anytime we get to work with the local legends, like Ben Affleck or Matt Damon or Casey or Mark Wahlberg, they're always a good time when they come home to Boston. And every time we have to shut something, normally when we shut something down in Boston, everyone's really angry about it, no matter who the actor is. When it's one of those guys, everyone's fine with it.
Everyone's fine. Yeah. That's that. I mean, that's so. Did you go to the opening of the town at Fenway Park?
I didn't. No. I forget what was happening when that happened. I
was in the Middle East and I almost flew back for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God, it just didn't work out. But yeah, that's a very cool thing.
Because I came in to the town. I mean, that was my first real movie that I worked on, and like real production, and other than like student films and things like that, or side projects. But that was the first one that I really worked on. But I came in about halfway through because I was doing security for movies for a little while. I did like Night and Day, and I think I did a Brendan Fraser movie called Furry Vengeance, which is a horrible movie. But I was doing security on those, and I was doing security at base camp on the town where they have all the actor trailers and everything. And Ben came out of his trailer and he bummed a cigarette off of me, and he asked me, he's like, so what do you want to, you don't want to be a security guard for the rest of your life, right? And I was like, no, I want to do like what you do. And he was like, oh, cool, man. Well, keep at it.
You want to bang?
I want to bang big booty Latinas, and have a horrible alcohol problem. And hey, I for the most part I did. For the most part I did. And then I got laid off from security 3 days later, and then 2 days after that, the key production assistant called and was like, Ben said we had to hire you, and here I am. So I just never stopped after that.
Oh man!
So I owe my whole career to Ben Affleck.
Yes, but your aura has always stuck with him, and when he came out with the Dunk Kings, I saw that. I said, he's fucking just doing Cam Morton. Motherfucker.
He's such a nice guy, and it was great because like I was a production assistant on that one, which is what you start out with really in general. No matter what department you end up in, you usually start as a production assistant, getting people coffee and locking up the shot and everything. And and many years later, I worked on his movie Live by Night, which was the like 1930s
Yeah, I saw that one.
mob movie, and at that point I was an assistant director. I had just joined
Oh, that's great.
the Directors Guild, and he had rented out McGreevy's Pub, which doesn't exist anymore, but on Boylston Street. He rented it out for the crew to watch the Patriots game after we shot one day, and I went up to him and I was like, man, and I showed him my DGA card, and I was like, you gave me my first day on a set, and now I'm your, and he was directing now, and I was like, now I'm your assistant director. That's pretty fucking crazy. So
Dude, that's an awesome story.
Full circle moment. Yeah.
That is complete. Now, and so one of the reasons I wanted to talk, so now you've launched Glovebox Comedy.
Yes.
And you're taking these years of working on The Last of Us and Free Guy and Dexter, and you're putting that knowledge into monologue piece sketches that are pretty fucking hilarious.
Thank you. Yeah, we're definitely in the infancy of it all. And it's a learning process, just with how fast everything is changing in terms of like how people consume, entertainment in general. So that's been an interesting thing to navigate, and we're slowly trying to build in order to make it, a more fully produced thing, but for now, keeping it small and just keeping it more about the writing and more about the comedy is really, it has been a lot of fun, and I think that's showing on screen.
I mean, it looks like people who want to be working together.
Yeah,
it has that feel of not like a troupe, because like troops and stuff, it's like auditioning for a team or trying out for a team where, you know what I mean, it's put together with that versus, a grunge band or a garage band that comes from, I want to spend time with this person. What can we come up with to make the excuse that we get to do this together?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it all kind of started with so like I started doing Glovebox comedy on my own. And at first I was just doing like little showcases. And then it was like once a month, maybe twice a month. And then we started doing the mic, and that's when I brought in like Nancy Sen, Zach Morton, Alexis Cristaldi to start helping out on the club side of things, which they really helped grow that to what it became. And then it's ballooned ever since then. And we've just had a chance to really work with some really amazing people. I mean, on the Glovebox TV side, Sandra Talon, we had Joe Jensen for a little while doing writing for us. He was fantastic. And we have some new people coming in now that are playing around. So it's been really cool, man. It's been really cool.
And how do you balance like writing stand-up stuff, writing sketch stuff, and then you've been a fun follow for a while because I love when you do tours of like South Station, you know what I mean? Kind of the anti-tour guy kind of. Here's a reason why you don't want to come here type thing.
Can I say that shooting those is the most anxious I am shooting anything?
Why is that?
Because it's just me. It's just me with a tripod in public, looking at my phone on a tripod, saying pretty ridiculous shit. And there's just people walking around me, and it's so, it gives me so much anxiety because I'm like, welcome to this fart box, and like I have like a mother walking by with her kid, and I'm just like, oh god, what am I doing? But it's people seem to like it, so I got to keep doing it.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a lot of fun. But you're wearing a hat now, but you wear many hats as a stand-up, a sketch performer, a sketch writer. I guarantee you still have some feature script that you're working on that in the back of your head, like you now and then.
Oh, we got a couple. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline, and a lot of stuff that's kind of in development right now. And it's just a matter of getting it to the right place, obviously, as you know, and then trying to find the trying to find the funds to do it is the toughest part. But yeah, we have things we're looking to do in the hopefully not too distant future that are a little bit bigger than what people have seen so far.
And you still got the mic at Hennessy?
Yep. Yeah, we have every Tuesday, 9 to 11 for free. And that's the pre-booked open mic, usually around, between 15, 20 comics, 5 minutes each. It's a great space. And then on Thursdays, we're doing paid shows there, more like showcases. But we've started doing like some really unique shows. Like Alexis Cristaldi runs a show with us there called Yes and Stand Up, which is 3 stand-up comedians and then an improv group that does 20 to 30 minutes improv work based on the comedian's acts.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So we did that. We just did Serving Movies, which was Alexis and Maddie Kelly. They do comedic commentary over a movie. Last week we watched Clueless, and they had Rosemary West there as a guest as well. So we're trying to do all these, kind of new, unique shows and get some audience attention,
So I will ask, as a host who's put together shows like this, what is worse, bad stand-up or bad improv?
I feel like
when one goes bad, which is more like watching through the spaces your finger with your face covered?
I feel like bad stand-up is easier to recover from.
Yeah.
I think bad improv, you'll really lose the audience with bad improv. If you got to get people who are real good in order to really hold the audience attention, because improv's so hard, as you know, and it's just when it goes right, it goes very right.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things. You can have a new person to comedy who's not really there, and they're finding their way, and it might be one of their first open mics, and it's kind of tough, but they might have one or two really good lines. Like everybody will have, and you'll be like, oh, but when you watch bad improv, unless it's so bad that it's like, are they that good that they're this bad, or are they that bad? Because I went to I won't name it, but a friend of ours runs lots of stand-up classes, and recently one of the class showcase was a mixing with an improv thing, and the class was okay. Those class showcases, I tell you, they're lots of fun to go to, because this is 2/3 of the people. This is it. They took a class, they want to try it, they want to see what it's like, and their friends and family are there, and it's real. It's a nice environment, but every 2 or 3 comics was an improv thing, and one improv troupe was okay, and one of them was, it was so bad
it can derail a show.
It really did.
It can derail a show.
Well,
for sure.
The person running the comedy site was smart enough to have a couple friends that we know. One headliner's like, just to go on after the improv before we get back to the class to make sure you put that train back on the track.
Yeah. You don't want to screw the next person in line. You want to. Yeah.
This is a one moment to do their 5 minutes, and you're not going to have them follow that. So you would have, a bigger name go. But honestly, how, this is so great that you're doing it. And again, like I said, I talk to so many people ask me, and where the barrier to entry, you don't need anybody's permission, but so many people are afraid to put stuff out there or figure out like how to do a sketch or how to, again, it's like on one hand, there's no barrier to entry. On the other hand, there's so much stuff out there. Your stuff has to be better to be seen and rise above. So it seems like you have put together a lot of that. But again, you have, what was the first credit? Like The Town. So that's 2010?
2009.
Yeah. So you got over 15 years of real big budget, and the great thing, you mentioned student films. I tell this to people all the time. If you're starting comedy, go to as many mics as you can.
Yeah.
and go to different mics. You know, Worcester is completely different than Boston. That's different than Lowell. That's different than Manchester. And go suck a bag of dicks at each one of those places and fail. Same thing with student films. If you want to be in production and somebody has something going on, get on any production that you can, because you'll either learn, I don't fucking want to do that, or you know what, they got this down, and you can learn from all of those things. So when I'm looking at your resume, and it's like, yeah, you know, it's a big thing, like Beekeeper and Last of Us to student films. You're bringing all of that knowledge to this Glovebox.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's exactly right. You know, it's over 15 years of just living on set. I mean, at this point, I honestly think I feel most comfortable in my own skin when I'm on a set. When I'm not, it's very jarring to me. I've taken a few jobs just while we're trying to build up Glovebox, you know, that are, you know, more normal day jobs. And it's just so different from what I'm used to, that it's almost a little uncomfortable. So any chance I can still have a camera and actors, it's my happy place. Are
you a planner as far as, okay, we're trying to get Glovebox off the ground, we're trying to do these different kind of comedy shows, and a pretty saturated market, you know, to kind of stand out. You got some long, you know, feature things. Also, where do you have time to do your stand-up, and what does the cam picture look like? Do you have not goals, or, hey, I want to be doing this, or I would like a movie done within 3 years or 2 years. I would like 5,000 followers on the Glovebox sketch side and the next year. I mean, how do you compartmentalize and set goals for each of these different disciplines?
We do. Yeah, I do try to, like right now I've kind of built things out where I'm usually trying to plan for 6 months, 1 year, and then the 5-year pie in the sky, as we've been calling it, end goal, not end goal, because there really is no end, but you know, the top of the mountain, really. In terms of like my writing for like my own personal stand-up and stuff, I will say that has definitely been taking a back burner lately. It's been so busy with the sketch series and then like trying to produce these shows that I haven't had as much time getting to mics as I'd like. So I definitely still need to, that's something I'm still working out.
Yeah, but the great thing is, like, you know, like 10 years ago, your jokes were about the Middle East, and great news, they're still often
Yeah.
You know, hey, look, you're in Boston, so racist slurs never go out of style. So your comedy is like an evergreen here, man. You are good to go.
Yeah, we're all set.
But dude, I mean, again, I keep saying it because I circle back. I like people who have shit going on, and everybody has legit reasons for not being able to do stuff. Kids, job,
yeah,
you know, life throwing, you know, flat tires, you know.
I got none of that.
Oh, that you claim. No, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it is funny because it is funny. It was Anthony, I think Anthony, Eugenio, Wayne, and I, we were talking, and we were at some book show somewhere, and there was a friend basically saying, how do you guys get all these shows? You know, basically they were very nicely saying, I'm funnier than you dumb fucks, but you guys get all these shows. What are you doing? And I love when people come and say, how does this part of the machine work? And I'm still learning, and I'll say X, Y, and Z. Yeah, but I don't have the time to do that. You know. And then I remember Wayne, like, he doesn't have any kids. He lives at home. So somebody who lives at home who doesn't have kids, so you know, you don't have the insane rent. You know, you don't have this other life form that is completely dependent on you to eat. And also, what is that thing that my kids are always asking? Oh, love them.
Yeah.
In the asses. And we're like, if I can make the time to do this, then and if you can't, you're not a bad person. It's just not important enough to you.
Right.
And I've always said that to people, you will find a way.
Mhm.
If you want to get this thing done, and even a few years ago, like,
You have to be obsessed
you know what?
to a certain
Uh,
extent.
my, our friend Dante the comic said it best. You only do this because you can't not do it.
Right.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And so every day, like, I have the wall in front of me, like the 8 different things that I'm always trying. One of those things. And at every moment that I can, whether it's, one of these disciplines like you're doing, but that's the thing. You can find excuses why you're not getting it done. At the end of the day, you don't want it bad enough, or you're really untalented like me. So it comes down to one of those two things. But I do love when people say, how do you do this? This is how I do it. There's other ways of doing it. Well, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of work. It's never. You can't stop. You can't stop. When you stop, you die. That's the terrible. That's the terrible reality of it.
So before I let you go, who are some of your Boston first of all, who are some of your comedy heroes? Who are the ones when you were 14 getting suspended for doing that routine, which I fucking love? Who are your heroes then, and who have been consistently your heroes? And then who are some of the Boston guys that you just look at and think, I fucking get to see this guy and work with this guy, and that's ridiculous?
Ooh, oh man, there's so many.
It's tough, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, when I was younger, when I first did stand up, it was like right when, and now I don't share the same sentiment as I did when I was 14, but but at the time, Dane Cook was huge, and that kind of got me obsessive about it. Seeing the way he performed. And almost telling non-jokes but still being funny. But over the years definitely evolved. I would say, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, they're top of the list. I would definitely put Dave Attell on there as well. In terms of like Boston comedians, I mean, Lenny is amazing. I always loved Lenny. Mike Petrobis, Liam McGurk, all these buddies of ours that I just think are doing amazing work. Alexis Cristaldi. I mean, we're so lucky that we have her on our team, because she's gonna go far. And then my business partner as well, who's always crushing it, B. William Brooks as well. It's such a great community in Boston,
dude. We talk about this all the time in the podcast.
And Maddie Kelly, oh my god,
and it's such a supportive community.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
It is ridiculous. Why would a Tony V talk to a piece of shit like me, and not talk to me, but talk to me after a show about sets and about this or about that?
Mm-hmm.
And
Will Noonan. I mean, the list goes on.
Will,
on.
Such a great guy,
Yeah.
Such fun follow. Will's a new follow.
Gary Bowles has been working with us a whole bunch, and he's kind of newer to the stand-up scene, but his content online has just been crushing it, and we're lucky enough to be shooting a bunch of stuff with him, and I always love seeing him on stage. I mean, everybody's trying their best out there and doing great work, honestly.
And what's great is there's enough room in this pool for everybody.
Absolutely.
But like, as I want to touch on that. Like you said, my favorite comedians are the comedians who are really funny when they're not telling a joke. Like their setups, like the way Steve Bjork.
Oh God, Steve! My God.
Right.
So good.
And like you said, Mike. When Mike is setting up the story, and here's just a throwaway thing that just. It's like, for me, as far as a comic goes, I see those guys like that. I'm like, I will, I'm pretty confident. At my funniest, I'm a really good writer. I write really funny things. But these guys, everything they say. They say everybody. Like I said, the person who's going up there second or third time to an open mic who is horrible for 4 minutes and 40 seconds, they might have two fucking gems that on their way out you can go over and say, oh man, that was you got me, that was really funny. But it's those guys who their whole set just funny, just not telling a joke, just and those are the guys that I every time it's like,
and they've been doing it for so long that they've gotten it to the point where, like, obviously this stuff that they're doing is written, but it doesn't sound written, and
it feels new.
It feels new. It feels off the cuff, which is the goal you want to get to as a stand-up. You want it to feel, excuse me. You want it to feel like a conversation, like a personal conversation with the audience a lot of the times, and yeah.
When you see Christine Hurley.
Christine, my God.
And she has an act. This is her act. And when
like
she pauses to try to remember one of her kids' names, you really feel like, oh man, she just brain farted.
Yeah.
Like she sells.
And then she comes in with a punch that's just it's a master class.
Yeah.
Watching her is a master class.
So we are spoiled. But man, as far as you go, Cam, I am so glad because you were in New York for most of last year. I think you were out of the loop for a little bit.
I didn't end up going, actually.
You didn't. The Dexter thing?
It didn't work out. I ended up not joining for this newest season of Dexter because I would have been there until it would have been January through June of this year that I would have been there. Their turnaround time was unbelievable. I mean, they literally just finished shooting and they just released the first episode. I remember, when we did Dexter New Blood here in Massachusetts, there was a year before it came out.
Yeah.
But then I think that maybe Showtime or Paramount Plus just kind of pushed them to get the stuff out quicker. So I know they did Dexter Original Sin, the prequel, which they shot last summer into the fall, and then that started releasing it in December. So that was an immediate turnaround. And then they did Dexter Resurrection, January to June, and now it's releasing just yesterday, or Wednesday rather.
Because you want to ducktail the success or keep that storyline going. And at the same time, you might be losing a principal. And so it's like, we got to shoot this now or it doesn't fucking get shot for 14 more months.
Yeah.
But Cam, thank you for doing this. And honestly, man, I'm such a fan of the grind and the effort and the results. Like, your stand up has always been really fun, but seeing these sketches and seeing you put this together and the amount of stuff that you're making happen while most of the people are talking about making stuff happen, it's inspirational, man. And I'm so happy for you and the crew you put together.
I really appreciate that, man. And I would be absolutely nothing without the people that have been working alongside me. So it's really a testament to their hard work, even more so. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope it blooms into more.
Hey, let's plug. You got a show this week coming up for a fundraiser for a dog.
Yes. We have a couple shows coming up. So Tuesday, always the mic. And then Thursday upstairs at Hennessy's, we have Gracie Cannon, who is an old friend of mine. We actually worked on a ridiculous budget short film that was a student film for this kid we both knew from RISD. It ended up being like a $300,000 short film.
Wow.
But she was lead construction on it. And then just like beginning of this year, I saw her posting online all these stand-up clips, and she's doing amazing shit. And she's based in New York. And so she's coming up to do a show at Hennessy's on Thursday. Tickets on Eventbrite. Follow us at Glovebox Comedy at Glovebox Comedy Club on Instagram, and then she's also going to be doing Giggle Station in Chelsea on Friday night through 13th Road. So you can get tickets on Eventbrite for both of those or one of those, whichever one you want. And then Saturday, at Grand 10 Distillery in Southie. We are doing my business partner B. William Brooks. His dog needs surgery. It's ridiculously priced. It's like nearing $20K for this surgery. So we're throwing a big stand-up show at Grand 10 on Saturday the 19th. Come on out. All the proceeds go to his surgery. Any donations are welcome, and you can also get tickets for that in the same place. So,
man, good cause, man. Good for you. No, Kim, this was awesome. I'm sorry it was a long time coming. It was great to have you on. But the most important thing is, don't forget.
Just a better old man. It's kind of what I've always been. I've always been a crotchety fuck. My body's just catching up. I sometimes wish that I'd died young. Maybe just didn't live long enough to learn the ones who really run things are generally the most corrupt. Mankind stepped outside the food chain. We introduced a fatal flaw. Got tangled up in romance games. We started to default. It's not the fastest or the strongest. It's not the brightest or the best. It's whoever holds the reins the longest. It controls the ratchet rest. So you got cousins, fucking cousins, to keep the rule among the few, until all the kings are crazy. The rest of us is crew. So what else could it be but madness? The madness of a twisted greed to destroy everything we have, taking more than you'll ever need. Bitter old man, but I know you only get one life. When they pay you for the day, brother, they just bought a slice. If every dollar is an hour, some fool's short time on earth, and the rich should be reviled for taking more than they could ever earn. If you wanna know whose prick it is, 'cause you know